And it's open. In hindsight, I probably should have made the opening of that a little bit more special, to be honest. Oh well, it's open now. Let's drink some seriously special whiskey. Welcome to Whisky and Whiskey. I'm the Whiskey Chaser Brian here in Christy's bar, Kilkenny. I hope you're keeping well. Well, it finally happened. The moons and the planets finally aligned. And I still didn't win the online ballot to purchase one of these absolutely beautiful whiskeys. However, my father did. And seeing as he isn't a huge, massive whiskey drinker, he bought it for me. Thanks, Dad. Actually, I'm just kidding. He didn't buy it for me, but he did win it. The lads here in the bar bought it off him so that they could open it and sell it by the dram. But in all honesty, not before I got my greasy little paws on it first to do a video for you wonderful people out there. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the 2022 Redbreast Dream Cask Double Cask Edition. So for those who don't know, back in 2017, master blender from Middleton, Billy Lighton, was asked for some special tasting that I wasn't personally invited to, oh well, to go around the Middleton warehouses and pick out a whiskey he would consider to be his dream whiskey. So he did, but it was only for a tasting that was held on World Whiskey Day in 2017, to the best of my knowledge. Jump forward a year, and after a tremendous amount of pleading and begging from whiskey fans, Irish distillers decided to bottle what was left of the previous year's Dream Cask whiskey and release it on World Whiskey Day in 2018. Hence, starting a tradition of yearly releases aptly named the Dream Cask Edition. Redbreast Dream Cask Edition. Now that whiskey was none other than a 32-year-old Redbreast whiskey, which was initially released for about 500 euros. Took some time to sell out, but now worth somewhere north of 3,000 euros on the secondary. Yeah. As you guessed it, these whiskeys have a huge collectability appeal. Since the Dream Cask inception, there has been a grand total of 5 bottlings, this one here being the newest. Details are to follow. But for the uninitiated, there has been a 32-year-old Oloroso Sherry release, a 20-year-old PX Sherry release, a 28-year-old Ruby Port Cask release, a 29-year-old Oloroso Sherry Cask, which utilized 4 different whiskeys, and now finally we have the newest release, a 30-year-old Double Cask Dream Cask Edition. It's a lot of information to retain. Thirsty work. Previous to this bottling, I have been fortunate enough to try all of the releases at various tastings, but the best tasting was the one held in Paris, Texas, where 4 of my friends each cracked one of their own Dream Casks, and we got to sample them all along with some sherries as well. They're all fantastic whiskeys. There isn't one bad one. I mean, sure, you'll get one obviously that you're going to prefer more than the other, but they are truly exceptional whiskeys, and I'm imagining the newest released here is of no difference. Small caveat, this is my first time trying it. Never tried it before, didn't get a sample. What you see is real. All 5 editions of these do come in a 500ml bottles and are roughly priced in or around the 500 to 600 euro range. The double cask here fetching 550 and included free shipping in Ireland. Go Ireland. I know I harp on a bit about price from time to time on the show, but honestly, I don't think it's bad value for this kind of age statement from this brand for what it is. That's just my thoughts. So the newest release, the Double Cask, as you guessed it, marries together 2 very unique casks of single pot still Irish whiskey. One cask selected by master blender Billy Lighton, and the other hand selected by blender Dave McCabe, right? Stay with me here. The first cask chosen by Billy was originally laid down in a first fill Oloroso sherry butt in May of 1990, and the other, chosen by Dave, was laid down in a first fill bourbon barrel in November of 1991. The 2 casks were selected, you guessed it, they were Dream Casks. Each blender's Dream Casks. For this particular release, the 2022 release, the folks at Middleton wanted to do something a little bit different while still retaining the quality of the previously released Redbreast whiskies, but kind of with a twist. This is kind of where my understanding of these things gets a little twisted myself, but these two casks were only married at the point of bottling. So they met at the point of bottling. They weren't married and left to age or anything like that, or vatted and left sitting for a while. Married at the bottling point, whilst obviously still trying to retain the Dream Cask spirit. So something a little bit different, but same, if you get me. Now, I am guessing from reading the press release that in this release, they wanted the bourbon barrel to come through a little bit more. Just from something I picked up on. I could be totally wrong about that. I have no idea how it'll play through. As I said, my first time trying this. I am expecting big things. It is one of the first times I had an opportunity to open one of these bottles myself on camera and have the first dram out of it, which Christie's have greatly supplied for me for this video. So fair play to the lads. When I'm done with this, this will be open here on sale for you to come down and try, should you wish to do so. And we pour. Healthy dram for a healthy boy. Now I'm going to do myself a big favor here. I'm going to allow that to breathe for a moment or two before I stick this wonderful thing into that wonderful thing. Before I nose it, just to give it a chance to breathe, as I said. While I'm leaving that to breathe a little bit, let's give you some of the background information. You're looking at a release of 714 bottles with an ABV of 56.9% ABV. 500ml bottles, obviously, a marriage of 30-year-old bourbon and 31-year-old sherry, hand selected by Billy Lighton and Dave McCabe, released for World Whisky Day in 2022 and priced at €550. This is bottle number, where are you? 545 of 714 open for business. Let's drink this. Ah, wonderful already. I can sense it. I can get the effervescence of it. Oh. Wow. That's beautiful. Taking a moment for myself here to enjoy this. That's incredible. Very complex, very rich. The first thing that stands out to me, obviously, sorry, it's not the first thing. The first thing that does actually stand out to me is the Redbreast DNA. It's obvious, it's there, you know, your sherry influence, dried fruits, that sort of thing, very much there. Now, what's interesting about this is there's kind of an old mustiness or a real leathery component that is coming through with the mustiness, and a spice that is earthy, very earthy. Then behind that, you obviously have your toasted nuts, almondy kind of toasted almonds. The leather note is interesting. It's beautiful. It's so well balanced on the nose. So well balanced. Yeah, old oak. You're getting, there's kind of like, that mustiness is given away to, it's like an old, I want to say, like, if you open, here's a good one, if you open, say you have an old cabinet at home, glasses or whatever's in it, and you open it and you get that oaky kind of mustiness from opening the cabinet. It reminds me of that. To a touch, obviously not, you know, but it's there. The sherry notes are incredible, real rich, very fruity at the back. Really, really, really good. A nosing whiskey for sure, something to sit down and just enjoy for ages and ages, and it keeps giving something new. One more little nose, because why not? Yeah, beautiful pot still spices, beautiful kind of oaky notes, toasted almonds. Your sherry influence is obviously there, very much so. But it's not overly fruity, it's not overly oaky, it's just all kind of blended together beautiful notes of goddamn beautifulness. Right, enough of that. We drink. Sláinte. Oh wow. Obviously, very full. First thing that comes to mind, quite spicy. But in a nice way, not overly aggressive. Oh. Your oak notes, your sherry notes, they're all coming through there. They're all just beautiful. There's a coffee note in there. There's a honey note. Really, 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 really complex. I'm gonna give it another little nose there, Sláinte. Again, sherry influence coming through, real prominent, but it's more so the rich tanniny oakiness that's standing out for me. Kind of those darker notes, like you're going like a dark chocolate, you're going tobacco, you're going, the toasted almonds are subsiding a little bit, it's not so much there. Hint of menthol, wow. Surprised I got that. I was able to pick that out quite nicely. Not overly sweet, a little bit dry, a little bit puckery, but nice. There's a kind of a resin, kind of tanniny, resiny aftertaste on it of like the oak over, you know, over anything else. One last little one, why not? Again, on the third time around now. Those oaky tannins are up there with the toasted nuts, and then you have the sherry notes. On the finish, as I had said already previously, there's like a resiny, tanniny, woody note that's standing out on the palate. It just goes for ages. It's almost, to me, it gets so kind of woody and fruity and all. It's almost like a butteriness, like a kind of buttery, salty, woody, not salty, definitely a buttery kind of thickness to it. Fruity, obviously, spicy, yes, but absolutely 100% more oaky now than some of the previous Dream Casks I've had. Nice little touch there. Stand by for my thoughts. Try to drink this. Hell of a dram. I think personally completely different than the other releases off the top of my head. Now, to really truly appreciate how different this is, I would need to have all 5 of them lined up. So if anybody's doing a tasting like that, count me in, I am there. A little bit more oaky than I remember the last one, a little bit more tannin, a little more resinous from the wood side of things, and herbaceous, kind of, that is a note that stands out for me as well. Kind of old furniture, that mustiness in it. I quite like that though. I think that works well with some of the Redbreast range that we've had, because I have tried some of the Redbreast single casks and it's kind of along those lines too. Not extreme, but that is an exceptional whiskey. And I know it's 500 ml, but 550 euros for a 30-year-old and a 31-year-old married together at bottling whiskey. I love it. I do. I love it. I love the difference. I love how this is different. Very good. Look, it's no secret. I do love the Dream Casks. They're exceptional quality. Just so good, and it's no different here. All thoughts are my own, by the way. I'm not influenced by anyone outside, and once again, thanks again to Christy's for the sample. It's nice to have a bottle of one of these open in a bar and not being sold for mad money. So it's here to enjoy, folks. So for the channel, I'm toying with the idea of doing 2 videos a week, stepping it up from 1 here. There are way too many fantastical whiskeys to enjoy. I'm just simply not getting enough time, and I'm not getting through enough of them. So I think for the Wednesday slot, we're going to do a Rare Whiskey Wednesday, which kind of sounds nice. Rare Irish whiskeys that I get to try, and then a Friday or a Monday release of standard pours or smaller batch releases or some core range products from some of the distilleries around Ireland. We're not getting much of a chance to kind of get through everyone. So let me know below in the comments comments if that's something that you would like to see. If it is, it could be the start of something. We'll maybe start with this one off on the right foot. Why not? So let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. That's all for me this week. Delighted I got to try that. If you yourself have had the opportunity to try this, leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts, please. Until next week, keep it Irish. Sláinte.